Well, we're making the quilt sandwich, and first thing you need to do is lay out your backing piece and cut it at least 3 inches bigger on all sides than your quilt top, than your table runner top. And this is only because it is a small quilting area. If it's anything bigger, an actual quilt, you need to cut the backing and your batting at least 4 inches bigger. And if you're going up to like a king size or something like that, then you're going to want to do it at least 6, sometimes even 8. If you're going to send it off to the long arm quilter, each long arm quilter generally has their own set of specifications. So check out their websites or ask them how much bigger you need to make your batting and your backing. Anyway, what we're doing here is we're making it at least 3 inches bigger. And the most important thing is to press your quilt top and your backing as nicely as you possibly can before you start taping anything down. So we're going to cut this 3 inches bigger. We're not going to cut it into the shape. We're just going to cut it square on the edges, and then we are going to start taping the backing and laying our backing for our table runner. Okay, I'm cutting the batting to match my backing. And then we're going to tape it down. We're going to tape it down. Is you want to lay your backing right side down on a flat surface. If you don't have a big table, I mean, use your dining room table you should be able to use your dining room table for a table runner, but if you can't, use the kitchen floor. Use the kitchen floor. Okay, now, traditionally, you do not want to stretch it too much. You want to lay it flat. If you stretch it too much, if you pull it, it's going to distort it when you sew it. But in most cases, people they just like to tape the ends. I always tape the middle as well. I think it really, really helps, you know. A little extra point, it prevents it from moving away from your quilt top in the wrong direction. And then once you have your points, you know, and you always start from the top and go down. But when you've finished, go back to the top and realign your masking tape so that you get it really nice and straight. Remember, straight and flat, not taut. Not taut. That's nice. And it obviously must be pressed first. There we go. Right. Once you have that done, you're going to lay your backing, your batting, and you can start from any point that's comfortable. If you're left-handed or right-handed, that really doesn't matter. Just do start from one vantage point. Okay, we're starting from the top left-hand, right-hand corner, and I'm putting it down. now you want to smooth it out. Let's smooth it out. Just smoothing it out. Nice and smooth. Right, now we're going to lay the quilt top on top. Giving it as much room on either side and top and bottom. And we're going to smooth that out. Nice and even. Smooth out. Now you're going to grab your safety pins. And you know, I'm not a purist. I use safety pins, I use quilting pins, I use ordinary pins. Anything that's suitable at that point that I feel most comfortable with. You're generally going to have a specialized safety pin that is curved. I've got straight safety pins and they work pretty fine. They work pretty fine. So it's straight safety pins, they work pretty fine. And you're going to start pinning all 3 layers together. You know, purists do not close the pin. You know, we've got the quilting piece, and purists do not close the pin when they first put that pin in. I close my pin straight away because I have forgotten to close pins that stab you in the hand as you sew, and that's a very uncomfortable. It's a very uncomfortable experience. Now you want to put those pins about a hand away, half a hand, depending on how you feel most comfortable. You can put it about half a hand away in a row, and then go on with that until you're finished. And we're going to come back when we've done all the pins. Once you've pinned the entire runner to your backing, release release the masking tape, turn the piece over and check your back. Check that it is nicely, not too tight, not loose. You want to get a nice texture. And now we can start sewing. So the quilting is complete, and the way that I have done it is I stitched 1 presser foot away from the seam, down, up, up to the next one, down, up to the next one. Then we I stitched in the ditch to the next one, and then the same thing until it is complete, and then stitched on the very, very edge of the border to give a flat edge. And now we're going to trim. We're going to trim the quilt top. We're going to quilt. We're going to trim the table runner. So you want to de-thread. You want to take out all your safety pins and check the back. The back should be as neat as the top. This is fully reversible. Once we put the binding on, it's going to be fully reversible. And then you need to trim away. You first need to square up your table runner top by laying a ruler against the edge. You want to lay a ruler against the edge and trim off the excess. Trim off the excess with your rotary cutter or your scissors. If you're going to use the scissors, mark it. All right. Trim away the excess, and now we're going to press, and then we're going to apply the binding. Lay your fabric and cut your binding. I'm cutting my binding at 3 inches. Traditionally, you should do 2.5. I find 3 much, much easier, and there are many other quilters out there that agree with me. It is just so much easier to use a 3-inch binding. I'm not cutting it on the bias. I'm just cutting it straight. Should be fine because we've only got straight lines and corners. There's no curves. So you should be quite fine with straight binding instead of cut on the bias. We're going to cut it and we're going to join it. I'll show you how to join it. Then we're going to apply it, iron it, and turn it. We'll show you the entire process. To join your binding, you lay it at a 90-degree angle. Right sides together, stitch from corner to corner, and then you're going to cut that excess away, and when it turns, it's going to be nice and straight and even, without bulk. Okay, so press your quilted table runner. Nice and flat. Don't burn it. This is such a great iron for quilting. It's got the weight